Hey, I'm Brandon, and today we are checking out the Sedici Corsa gloves available at RevZilla.com. So the Corsa gloves, these are a race-bred, track-oriented pair of gloves geared towards that 2 to 3 season warm weather riding conditions, of course. Hopefully you're out there on the track when it's nice and toasty to keep those tires nice and warm and grippy. But I will say this is obviously something you can use in a variety of different applications. It's just got really bomb-proof protection that is geared towards that aggressive riding application out there on the track that you would experience. Now I do want to talk about the fit before we just deep dive into all the features, because these gloves, pack a serious punch here. I do want to say these are running very true to size. Typical race fashion, these are fitting very snug. Stick with your typical glove size. And just to give you some frame of reference here, I measured just over 8.5 inches, probably closer to 8.75, and I am fitting in a size large very well. I typically wear a size large, so no surprise there. Again, get your measurements, stick with the sizing chart, and you should be all set. This has a goat leather main construction, so it is going to relax. It is going to break in with regular use in time. Make sure these are nice and snug right out of the gate. Now these gloves will ship to you for free, and as always we do have our price match policy in place. That's there to ensure that you are getting the best deal around. Let's talk about some of the features here, starting with the gauntlet. We do have a dual gauntlet main entry here, and this is designed to give you some room here. You've got enough room to accommodate your leathers, because those typically tend to be a little bit thicker, especially if you're wearing a race suit. Then we've got the retention strap covered with a leather strap over top of that. That is just going to help keep this glove in place in the event that you're coming off the bike and putting this to the true test. As you can see here, we have some hard TPU protection incorporated at the gauntlet here towards the base. And as we continue working our way down the glove, there is one important thing I wanted to point out. On the inside of the glove, and it's just on the top of the hand, you are going to find some aramid reinforcement. The great thing about that is it is giving you some additional abrasion resistance, as well as it should dissipate some of that heat if you are sliding your hand across the tarmac. Now the other aspect of that is that it is, gonna build a little bit of heat on the inside. It tends to be a little bit warm just from a temperature, if you're building body heat out there in the track riding application. So I would have loved to see a little bit more perforation incorporated, but I will say this is a race-bred, track-oriented glove. So you're usually doing about 20-minute sessions and then coming back into the pit, taking your glove off, relaxing, and waiting for your next session. But for those of you out there who might be looking at these gloves for everyday street sport use, that is something to take into consideration if you're riding routinely in very hot riding conditions. Would have loved to see a little bit more perforation to help with that. But on the top of the hand, you can see we do have a little bit of perforation there just underneath this floating knuckle. It's a dual density knuckle, excellent impact protection there. And then we've got some additional reinforcement on the tops of these fingers, as well as that double layered leather. I really like the Superfabric that's incorporated. I've crashed in this stuff quite a bit, so I always like to see it. It is small, but it certainly serves its purpose. And then we've got some additional double layer leather on the tops of those fingers as well. And then working our way to the inside of the glove, as I mentioned before, we do have that goat leather main construction, so it is going to relax and break in really well, but it offers excellent tactile feel. We get touch tech capability on the index finger as well as the thumb. Always nice to be able to manipulate your GPS or your smartphone without removing your gloves, because I'm sure there's plenty of us that are going to be utilizing this outside of the track riding application. We've got some additional grip here. This is not only going to help prevent premature wear in this area as you're grabbing your controls, but it's also going to give you some additional grip, which is pretty important, especially in that more aggressive track riding application. Coverage on that outer seam, a little bit of a gap here just to make it a little bit more comfortable as you're hanging off of the bike and grabbing your controls pretty aggressively, but we still have that coverage there. And then we've got these palm sliders incorporated to protect the scaphoid, if you will, if you want to get all fancy with it. But it is nice to have that coverage there. Again, this is a high impact area in the event that you're coming off the bike. Most common crash that you're going to experience at the track is probably a low side. You lose the front end, and your instinct is to put your hand out in front of you to brace yourself for impact. So it is nice to have that additional protection incorporated here on these gloves. For the price, these are going to be a really bomb-proof option for any riders out there who are looking to do some club racing, maybe the occasional track day, and of course these are comfortable enough that you can wear them all day long on the street and get that extra level of protection for that riding application. But of course, if you're looking for more details, feel free to click that info button. That's going to take you over to RevZilla.com, where you can read other rider reviews. And as always, if you have any questions for us, please do not hesitate to reach out. Give our Giga Geeks a call at 877-792-9455, or simply shoot over an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit and taking a closer look at the Sedici Corsa gloves. I'm Brandon. Keep it pinned.